responds to those who ask. Now, guys, when you begin to ask for what you want, that means you've certainly taken control of your life and you're steering yourself in the right direction. Many great things are going to come as a result. But here's the question. How do you get started? It's like, okay, it's easy to say, yeah, this is what I want, this is what I want. But there are certain ways that you have to ask for things. But if you just get in your mind that you want certain things and you need help from other people to get them, asking is the easiest way to get them. But let me go through a few points here, guys, and just to make sure you understand the proper ways to ask for things. Like when you're a little kid, you go ask mom, and she says no, then you go ask dad. Okay, kids are pretty they're pretty ingenious, to be honest with you, because they figure it out. They're like, okay, well, mom says no, I'm going to go ask dad. Dad says no, well, I'm going to go back to mom, right? Now, is that the proper way to do it? Well, a lot of times, yeah, because parents just give in, right? Okay, so if you're going to ask for things that you need, one thing you have to absolutely do is you have to ask as if you expect to get it. Now, this is really important because your state of mind, your state of thinking contains a solid level of certainty and expectation when you ask. Make sure that your mind is like, okay, I expect this person to tell me yes when I ask for this. Your state of mind affects everything. It's your body, your posture, your eye contact, your tone of voice, your choice of words. Think about other situations when you've asked and you've had every certainty that you would receive exactly what you were asking for. Just remember how you felt then. Just keep that in mind with every request that you make. Now, you've got to ask somebody who actually can give it to you. Before you ask somebody for something, make sure they have the ability to give it to you. Some people are very qualified and motivated to help, and others just aren't capable of delivering. Colleen and I had the opportunity to go to the White House recently, and we were going to go and take a tour of the White House and meet some of our friends that were there. But we had to ask the right people, and we asked the right person who had the contacts to get us to the White House. So ask people who have the ability to deliver what you're actually asking for. Before you ask, get the person's full attention. Your request deserves that kind of respect. If the person can't give you their full attention, ask at a different time, okay? Whenever I travel, if I have to, change my seat or I have to make some type of change in my reservation, if I walk up to a counter, I fly Delta almost exclusively. So if I walk up to the Delta counter and I see that the gate agent is working on something else, I wait. I wait until there's a pause in the action. Because if I just walk up there and say, hey, can you help me with this? They're like, no, I'm working on something else right now. And so you got to time it a little bit and make sure that person has your full attention. When you ask, be clear and be specific. Be as concise as possible. I mean, just ask for what you want and not for what you don't want, okay? But be careful what you ask for. More often than not, you're going to get exactly what you're asking for, all right? Ask from the heart. You can have anything you want if you want it bad enough. When you're asking, maintain eye contact. This is going to establish your, integrity for them helping you in whatever you are asking for. You can have a little bit of fun with it. Ask with humor and creativity. Why? Because humor breaks down our defenses, and creativity opens our minds to obviously new possibilities. Give something to get something. So, in other words, when asking, always be sure to explain what's in it for them and how they can benefit. Now, that's not always going to be the case, but if you can figure out a way to ask for something and help them in return, make sure you explain that to them. Zig Ziglar always said you can get anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. So if you can turn it into a win-win situation, that's always good. When I'm talking to a prospect and we get done with the business presentation and I asked them, I said, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to get started so you can enjoy more free time, whatever. What I'm asking them is to join my business, but the win-win for them is they get me. All right, they basically get me to help them build their business every step of the way. So I incorporate that into my closing. And then listen, don't be afraid to ask repeatedly. If somebody says no, you simply say next. Expect no's on a regular basis. Stay persistent. Obviously failure cannot handle persistence. But just because somebody told you no, for something you asked for, that certainly doesn't mean that you're going to stop asking. Just keep asking what you want. Now, I want to tell you a little story about how to ask. Okay? Now, we already walked through some points here. We said, ask as if you expect to get it. Ask somebody who can actually give it to you. Make sure that person has you've got their full attention. Be clear and specific. Ask from the heart. Be creative. If you want to add some humor, that always helps. And if you can make it a win-win situation, that's good. And, just ask repeatedly. Okay, so those are the main points. But there's a method to the madness when it comes to asking. How you ask makes a big difference. And I heard this story years ago, and I want to just repeat the story to you. But there were two monks that were walking in the Zen garden, and one asked the other, said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the monk replied, "I'm listening to music and meditating." And the first monk said, "Well, did you get permission for that?" And the second monk said, "Of course I did." And the first monk says, "Well, that's odd, because I asked the Zen master last week, while walking through the Zen garden and meditating, is it okay for me to listen to music?" And the Zen master said, "Absolutely not." Well, the second monk said, "Well, that's odd, because I asked the Zen master, while I'm walking through the Zen garden listening to music, is it okay to meditate?" And the Zen master said, "Absolutely." Guys, just reword the question where the subject is agreeable to your audience. When you said you wanted more time, okay, if I'm talking to a prospect and I'm trying to close them into the business, and I would say something like, "Well, you said you wanted more time. Are you ready to get started in the business and work with me?" Well, your prospects are going to go, no, that's not what I want. Instead, turn it around. Say it this way: are you ready to get started so you can create more free time with your family? Doesn't that sound better? Okay? Always say what they want last, or what you want last. Okay? In our business, we're trying to get business builders, right? And so a lot of times people will say, "Well, I just don't have enough free time. I don't make enough money. I haven't been on a vacation in a long time." And so you simply say, "Listen, are you ready to get started to create more free time? Are you ready to get started to, go on that vacation of your dreams with your family? Are you ready to get started so you can have X, Y, Z?" Leave them thinking, "Oh my gosh, yes, I want extra money. I want more free time. I'd love to go on vacations." Well, let them know that by working with you, they can have those things. So you word it where the last thing they hear is, "I can help you get those things." Okay? So let's get started, right? Let's get started so you can have more free time. You can make more money. You can build that house on the lake. Let's get started so you can give more money away, or you can build that college fund. These are simple suggestions to make sure you get exactly what you want.